Welcome to the Do It All Dad Year podcast, dad friendly entertainment for you and me. Controlling our kids through comedy can make our kids great again. And this is episode 80. My husband, not interested, babe. So I'm at a winter ball dance with my daughter. This is now our third. And it's at this fancy golf club. And this is me making small talk. KP demanded a trade. The Knicks had no choice. You always have a choice. Liam Neeson's choice of black directors to work with in the future? Not so much. Can I get a holla for some holla? The Knicks had no choice. George Soros said the same thing when he rounded up Jews door to door for the Gestapo. The Knicks made no effort to keep KP around. It's like Tom Hanks dumping Daryl Hannah back in the Atlantic Ocean because of his co-op's board no mermaid policy. Random black dad that I'm making small talk with laughs a long time. Neil Young dumped his wife of 40 years for Daryl Hannah. I think it's safe to say that Neil Young is in the middle of a post midlife, never banged a mermaid crisis. Can I get a holla for some holla? So this is me making more small talk at the winter ball dance. This DJ is killing me. I want this DJ Spotify membership revoked permanently. Stevie Wonder, blackout drunk, could spin a better set list than this guy. I wasn't into Footloose in the 80s. Hair metal is played on classic rock stations now. Is Lita Ford, Kiss Me Deadly, too much to ask? Footloose reminds me of a time I got into a fight at a Christmas party because I said Caddyshack 2 was funnier than the first. A girlfriend broke up with a guy who freaked out on me. Uh, they actually broke up literally like the following week. That's what you call douchebag karma. Random white dad this time around laughs long time. There's more small talk at the winter ball dance. Since when did the Harlem Globetrotters become 40 minutes of crowd work? Plus, I could dunk a basketball off a trampoline despite my white man's disease. Another random black dad laughs a long time. My husband, not interested, babe. My husband is a bigger turnoff admission than my immovable blob mother-in-law complaining how her supporter husband never takes her out for dates after we asked him to babysit our 3 kids once during Christmas break. My husband, not interested, babe. My husband is a bigger turnoff, unasked for, conversationally declared announcement than I think Make America Great hats are equivalent to wearing blackface. But Megyn Kelly was only showing her appreciation for old school Al Jolson records. Can I get a holla for some holla? My husband is a bigger force turnoff announcement than childless siblings who complain about having to bring home work with them because binge watching House of Cards made you such a better person. My husband is a bigger force turnoff acknowledgement than a woman writer contributor on the Good Men Project bitching about not having enough female coworkers because she still doesn't find IT nerds cute enough. Nice try, Silicon Valley. For all you fans out there, I've wrote a hilarious spec script for Silicon Valley called Just a Schmuck in a Headset that you could check out on the Dear Data website. My husband is said by women who feel the sudden need to prop up their meh partner in love in the presence of a younger, sexier stud because you come off as a friskier, married slut in a straitjacket than the rest. My husband is mentioned by women whenever they think you're hitting on them or when they feel sexually overwhelmed by your smoldering Furio from The Sopranos presence, despite you lacking his tough guy credentials. My husband, not interested, babe. My husband is a bigger turnoff admission than I like LeBron James now because he's less alpha doggish since admitting he doesn't care about chasing the ghost of MJ, knowing it's no longer happening. King of the persecution complex has admitted the limitations to his self-imposed, self-proclaimed claims of greatness after all. My husband, not interested. My husband is a bigger turnoff, unasked for, conversationally declared announcement than I only watch CNN for the financial news. Yeah, and I only watch Real Time with Bill Maher for my Bible study group. My husband, not interested, babe. My husband is a bigger, unasked for, turnoff admission than I used to be a speechwriter for Reagan, but still think a yokel from California can match Trump's gift of gab and biting sense of humor. Your days are numbered, Peggy. My husband, not interested. My husband is a bigger force turnoff announcement. That was a reference to Peggy Noonan, by the way. Who cares? She's so boring. My husband, I don't believe he's to be enamored with the writing. My husband is a bigger force turnoff announcement than Amin Khan, despite not working in the biz as a creative heartthrob of any kind. You wannabe player interlopers are so adorable. My husband, not interested. My husband is a bigger force turnoff announcement than I'm vacationing in South Beach this winter. Good. Better catch an STD or the vacation is a bust in my book. Hope you did plenty of planks to fit in. So yesterday my in-laws came down for my youngest son Samuel Headbangers Ball. Jabba hot hike in the house. Bam Bam Gigolo. Samuel Teddy Kornbluth is his real name. I'm very enamored of nicknames, but he's gonna be 2 this Tuesday. And my brother-in-law came down with his wife, and Kelly's nice. I've realized that she's tolerable in like annual installments, but turns out that she's actually into Lou Reed, which I thought was cool, and the Beach Boys. So that goes a long way with me. And I didn't even get like pissy when she said how much she hates the Grateful Dead. So, and then if I'm my wife, they should be a pothead. So, you have to appreciate someone that smoked the ganj and then got a government job and still says, I still think the Dead suck. So, and in her defense, I remember her one time saying she was giving my mother-in-law a hard time for claiming that she knew what good bagels were because she's from England, and she was saying, well, I think the big-headed Jew over here, has had more inside knowledge on that, babe. But so I bought it with her last night, and that was nice. And my point is that we had a nice family. It was cool because my mother-in-law wasn't yapping. She wasn't doing her, everything that's wrong in the world that doesn't affect me, I'm going to enlarge and bitch and make it all about the Blondie in the White House and insist that he's responsible for all the social ills in the world. So she didn't go down that path immediately. She was actually on good behavior. Of course, she could only keep her fat trap shut for, I'd say 7 hours. And then they came over today, and obviously she couldn't help herself at all. It was really pathetic. Like, these are my mother-in-law. FCC, Trump. Taxes, Trump. Abortion, Trump. And I'm thinking, you make no money ever for 40 years. Or let's just talk about like recently. You make, not that I'm any better, but at least I'm based in reality up here. You make no money sitting on your ass, eating bonbons, watching The View, and nobody's knocking you up or pulling the broadcast license of ABC. So how are you affected by Trump again exactly? Can I get a holla for some holla? But the point was, my son, I call him this, according to his astrology chart, he is destined to be this tremendous humanist. And his humanist unifying potential was definitely in full blown display last night because everyone was on their best behavior. And even when my mother in law decided to do her Trump, blah, 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 my brother in law shut up immediately and said, I don't want to hear it. Just stop it. So that was cool. And I did learn, and he asked me about if I had seen the new Seth MacFarlane show, which is based on like Star Trek. It's on Fox, and so we've always been able to, bond over comedy, really good beers, and he actually knows more about sports than I thought too. So we had a nice conversation about Eli today and Brady, and that was nice. Oh, and my mother-in-law's blatantly anti-Semitic undertones weren't too obvious when she said about Bob Kraft. She didn't actually utter the name. She was like, "I don't understand these owners that take credit for teams. Those greedy Jew bastards. It's $5,000 suits aren't enough." So obviously she hates the fact that he's friends with Trump. But what people don't know is that Donald Trump, after Bob Kraft's wife died, Donald Trump called his good friend Bob Kraft once a week for an entire year. And my wife won't even bookmark my blog. And I have so-called fake news friends from high schools that haven't even met my third child, Samuel, who's going to be turning 2 on Tuesday. I can't believe it, kiddo. We did a lot. We're now on our 80th podcast. So we've definitely amassed about 20 hours of stand-up. John Lennon wishes he was as productive during his stay-at-home dad years. And you have been the best pal. You make Daddy feel so loved. Some of the best chapters in the book are obviously inspired by you and our time together. I love listening to my podcast with you at night. I love it when you give a round of applause at the end of one when it's not too long and I don't bore you to death. But you're the best. And I mentioned before in the podcast, my password for everything is Samuel Wins. And right now, my book is being looked at by an editor who just edited a book about Oscar Schindler, like the Oscar Schindler that the movie Schindler's was based on. And it's an interesting angle to this guy, Kevin Robertson, really smart guy, very sharp, speaks like 5 different languages. And I read the book in like one sitting. It was really impressive. And it was about how Oscar Schindler overcame ADD. So a very interesting approach because Kevin Roberts works with students that suffer from ADD. And so he's written other books about it. So this is definitely one of his niches. And Oscar Schindler was a great subject to explore. So the point being, so Samuel, you have been so wonderful because in the end, I now have a manuscript that is in the hands of an editor who's liked everything I've had to say about writing a book about falling for fatherhood, working remote, controlling kids through comedy, and how controlling kids through comedy and working remote can make our kids great again. She was enjoying the spiel. And right now, she's in the process of editing, Samuel, a manuscript of sheets of comedy gold, of material that has been embraced by my 130 followers on WordPress. But before that, embraced by Twitter peeps who are fully aware of the fact of how Twitter's been shadow banning me forever. But this book represents the best of all the material that eventually got these accounts, the Twitter accounts temporarily deactivated. And I'm talking about hashtag of private equity, hashtag fintech, hashtag plumber, hashtag WordPress. You guys have been great. Best comedy bud's never had, outside of my children, of course, and my wife for a little bit in the beginning. But you've been wonderful. And this book is going to be sweet vindication. So when it's all said and done, I'm thinking, Samuel, that this could be 2 books. One book, stay-at-home comedian, controlling kids of comedy, and that book is a joke book and includes all of the Hillary Hammertime Cankles bashing, all the pro-Trump stuff. And then the other book just focuses on the essays, which is Falling for Fatherhood, How 3 Kids Got My Act Together, which is very exciting. And I now have an editor who's working this book who, like I said, edited a book on Oscar Schindler. So let's have some fun here, folks, and imagine me on TV on Kimmel. I would refuse that fuck. But let's say I'm on NPR for the fun of it, and the book's a big success, and they can't pigeonhole me as a right-wing conservative. Like, because literally, I'm gonna say I'm a Trumpian, nothing more, nothing less. Oh, what's a Trumpian? An unapologetic New Yorker who hits twice as hard when you go after his good intentions, which is to make our country strong, safe, and prosperous. And I'm going to go at you twice as hard when you decide to completely minimize and downplay the real horrors of what actually happened in the Holocaust by completely diminishing the word and sting of actually calling someone an actual freaking Nazi when they're not a Nazi. So I'm going to be in these shows, like a show on NPR, what, Fresh Air, and I'm going to say, so let me ask you a question. Am I a pro-Trumpian in my book? Yes. But when it's all said and done, who do you think knows more about the real face of horror, and who do you think knows more about actual real life Nazi persecution? You, James Goldsmith from Park Slope, or an actual editor that worked on a book based on Oscar F. and Schindler? Case closed. So I love you, Samuel. You're the best bud. And obviously, I don't plan on being this. I don't see why a father can't be a friend and a mentor at the same time. Because there's different definitions of friends. I'm not talking about like a buddy you get high with. I'm not gonna make that same mistake that Steve Carell does in that movie. What a horror show! Totally overrated, by the way. Uh, I mean, like the extent of their bonding was like the kid listening to Nirvana, and then Carell smoking a joint with them, thinking that was a strong concept. But so, but I see no reason why we can't be buds. And what I mean by buds is like a true friend is someone that's always gonna celebrate like your wins and accomplishments, and I always want to be that guy for you. I really do. Like when you get the Nobel Prize one day for being a true humanitarian that just doesn't get it because your name is Barack Hussein Obama and George Soros has more weight than we'd like to. So I love you, kiddo, and I'm very excited that we can celebrate your birthday with your other uncle, Uncle John. I give him a hard time, but he's excited to celebrate your birthday, and we all know wasn't able to come through so much when it came to having to babysit your other two siblings without him asking me to get him stoned in the process. So that opportunity for him to show that he really gave a shit went up and spoke. But no one's perfect, and I know that I'm excessively harsh and critical, and his heart is in the right place. Some people are more self-centered than others. I am certainly not this, big time altruist, but you have definitely made me more of a giver, and definitely inspired me to become the best leader, true speaker that I can be. And more importantly, you've inspired me to become a best-selling book author. So we could eventually take this material on the road on my reality TV show promotional companion piece called Barnstorming Barbershop USA. And I'll have you to thank, kiddo, because you don't come into this world, I don't do this podcast, I don't write this book, and I don't do everything in my power become the face and the voice of the remote work revolution, knowing that you inspire me to rise from slug to stud as the comedic writer force I was destined to be. This is the Do It All Dad Year podcast, dad friendly entertainment for you and me. We're almost at 2,000 downloads. Love the sustained attention and support. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, your family and friends, and I will talk to you guys soon.